morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always, told out of Voice of Radio. So today, I want to show you the new Pokemon, and all the cards to be honest, that are in the Charizard VMAX deck. You see, the Charizard VMAX deck is coming out in a week. It's been revealed over in Japan, and we've already talked about Charizard and Charizard VMAX. I don't intend going into a huge amount of detail. Charizard VMAX I am a huge fan of. 5 energy, 300 damage, discard, 2 energy attached to it is quite nice. But I love the first attack that for a triple acceleration energy goes and gets a 1-hit KO with a Vitality Band on a Zacian V, which is like the best card in the game right now. But I've done videos on Charizard V and Charizard VMAX, so I say we go and check those out if we want to learn more about them. Let's look at the new cards. Now, we'll go through the trainers in a little bit. The trainers are really good in this deck. Like, when I show you, you're going to be super jealous that these are Japan only. But we do have 3 new Pokemon that are coming out in this particular deck. Now, we'll start off with Tauros, but I'll be honest with you, we're not going to talk much about Tauros. 110 HP is fine for a basic. Retreat cost of 2 opens us up to Air Balloon, but you are a colorless Pokemon, so there's no real extra tricks. You're not hitting anything for weakness, etc. What we do have is an attack for 2 colorless energy that does 60 damage. And there are uses for this, now don't get me wrong. One thing we need to mention right now is we've got Twin Energy. And Twin Energy, when attached to a non-GX, non-V Pokemon, will provide 2 colorless energy. This is good. However, it's 60 damage. Now, 60 damage isn't terrible. 60 damage is good for evolving Pokemon. If you're against a Malamar deck and your opponent's got a bunch of Inkay out, you can start taking them out for a Twin Energy, and it's a basic Pokemon, and like I say, it's a single energy attachment if you use Twin Energy, so you can start taking them out. Something like a Ditto Prism Star will go down here. Something like a Mew from Unbroken Bonds, which a lot of people use to protect their bench, that will go down here. You are 10 damage short of a Jirachi, though if you were really worried about that, you could use Vitality Band. So it's not a terrible card. And look, if we compare this to the Tauros from Unified Minds, that does 60 for 2 energy, but then does 10 damage to itself. Of course, it's also got a Call for Family attack, which is quite nice. And then we've got Tauros' Raging Herd, does 10 damage for each damage counter on all your Tauros and Tauros GX, which admittedly can get bigger, but then again, it takes a bit of time and effort to get it up there. It's not a bad card, I don't mind the attack, but it's not there yet, shall we say. But that's alright, we're also getting a bespoke new Victini card. But unfortunately, again, this falls into the category of, at best, aggressively fine. 70 HP is alright, it will protect it from Tauros, but then again, when you've got low HP, I'd usually rather have 60 because of Professor Round's lecture, so you can search it out more easily. Now, the retreat cost of 1 is nice and low, and it means you can use U-turn board, and it's a fire Pokemon, right, which means Welder to accelerate energy if you're into it and all of that. But I'll be honest with you, it's not a particularly exciting card. I like it less than I like Tauros. Because the thing is, right, with Tauros, I can look at it and go, Twin Energy, start taking out basics from turn 1 going second, especially. So that's cool. Victini, I mean, 2 energy, 30 damage is bad. I'll be honest with you, it's bad because we've got Volcanion. And even if there's no other energy on the field, Volcanion for 2 energy will go ahead and do 50 damage. But if there's 2 other fire energy in play, 4 including the ones on Volcanion, then you do 110. And you got an extra 50 HP. And then the first attack lets you draw a card. No. Like, we got a million better Pokemon that can draw 2 or 3 cards. I mean, one of my particular favourites is a Sudowoodo from Sword and Shield, which firstly lets you draw 2 cards for a colourless energy, but secondly, he's got a really nice flail attack, so if you don't get one hit, you can hit them back quite hard. But I'd probably, in a fire deck, just rather use Volcanion. It accelerates 1 energy from your deck to your Pokemon, but free if it's your first turn going second, which about half the time it will be. So, if you're playing a sealed tournament, something like this Victini, little bit of damage in the early game, drawing some cards, etc., it's not terrible, but actually trying to use this in a serious manner, in a serious tournament, I just don't know if I can be in favour of that. But we've got one more chance for a new card, and it is a new Zyarde. Now, Zygarde's actually really interesting, because it's got 140 HP on a basic Pokemon, which is high. 140 HP is high. And we're not used to this, even on other Zygarde. I mean, the last Zygarde we got of this particular form was the Zygarde from Dragon Majesty that had 130. Plus, you've got a weakness to grass, which really depends on how good Rillaboom ends up being, but it's not a terrible weakness at the moment, though I am hearing a lot of good things about Rillaboom, so I don't know. Maybe hold fire on saying it's a great weakness yet. But you're also a fighting Pokemon. And being a fighting Pokemon means that you've got Diancie Prism Star to do a little bit of extra damage. It means you've got Martial Arts Dojo to do a little bit of extra damage. It means you've got Karate Belt to reduce the amount of energy you've got to pay to attack. It's also another fighting Pokemon that could have been a dragon. We are really starting to see a lot of evidence for dragon Pokemon having gone away for good, but that's a story for another time. And 1 colourless energy, 30 damage, yes. I actually quite like this Zygarde. This Zygarde's pretty good. Because you see, 1 colourless energy, 30 damage, if you're hitting for weakness, not too bad. Because one of the Pokemon that's seeing a lot of play at the moment is that Chinchino, that's got a really nice ability that lets you draw extra cards and a nice attack that lets you accelerate energy. But Minccino evolves from Chinchino, and Chinchino has 60 HP and a weakness to fighting, so you will get a 1-hit KO on that Minccino here. Oh, yeah, that's actually really good. But it's not just if you're hitting for weakness. Because time you had a Diancie Prism Star, that's 50. Hey, Snom. I love me some Snom, but Snom's going down here. And then, time you had Martial Arts Dojo, even if you're not behind on prizes, now you're up at 60, and something like the aforementioned Inkay will go down. And this is for a colourless energy. This I do like. I think there is a lot to like about this particular card. This is really quite cool. I should mention there is a worse 70 HP Minccino that came around in Sword and Shield. It really depends what you're using to search them out with and what kind of attacks you might be using, etc. But there is a 60 and a 70 HP. But even a 70 HP one, don't worry about it, because you should be playing Diancie Prism Star and Martial Arts Dojo, and either of those will go and get you a KO. So, yeah, don't worry your pretty little head about it. You'll be fine. Okay, this is good. Right now, this is good. We're happy. It's a good little attack. The second attack, slightly less in favour of. 4 energy, 130, discard 1. It's too expensive. It's just too expensive. Now, I'm going to tell you in a minute, so I might as well tell you now, we do actually have that Colossal coming in this deck as well. The Colossal's got the really good ability that once during your turn, you may attach a fighting and a fire energy from your discard pile to your Pokemon in any way that you like. In a Colossal deck, and this structured deck is a Colossal deck, you can pay the attack cost, but it's still too expensive for 130 discarding 1. I like Zygarde, but I like Zygarde for the first attack as a low energy, cheeky prize taking kind of attack. I don't like it for the second attack. So Tauros and Zygarde we can kind of get behind as fun little early game pokers. Victini we can't really get behind. But I've already told you that the deck also features Colossal, and you get your Charizard VMAX, and you get your Charizard. So this is actually really good. Like, really good. And, if anybody's wondering in terms of numbers, what we end up getting here is 2 copies of Charizard V and 1 copy of Charizard VMAX. Feel free to be upset about that. It's just the way it is, unfortunately. Just the way it is. But if we start having a look at the trainer line here, it starts looking a bit ridiculous. Now, I showed you Rotom Phone earlier today, maybe? So I don't intend going into a lot of detail about that. You look at the top 5 cards of your deck, shuffle 4 of them into your deck, and put 1 on top of your deck. It's really good. But if we have a look at the other trainers, we've got Quick Ball and Evolution Incense, probably our 2 best options for Pokemon Search at the moment. We've got Rare Candy, which if you're playing an Evolution deck is, well, Stage 2, something you probably should be considering. We've got Reset Stamp, which is a staple in basically every deck at the moment. Puts your opponent down to a hand equal to their remaining prizes. If they've got 1 or 2 cards remaining, it gets awesome. And as we look at the supporter line here, it's actually looking a little bit silly. We've got Cynthia and Professor Magnolia. Cynthia, shuffle your hand into your deck, draw 6 cards, the best shuffle draw we've got at the moment. Professor Magnolia, or Professor's Research Magnolia, discard your hand, draw 7, it's the best discard and draw, the most aggressive supporter we've got at the moment. So that's quite nice. We've also got Poker Kid in here. Now, I'm not arguing that Poker Kid is some kind of amazing card that's going to see a huge amount of play in every deck. But it just lets you search for any Pokemon and put it into your hand. In that regard, it's really quite good. We then do see Switch, which is a staple, but you've probably got a bunch of Switch already. We've got Pokemon Catcher, which remember got reprinted in Sword and Shield. So it's quite nice to have that. Again, a bunch of people probably already have it, but if you don't, flip a coin. If heads, switch your opponent's active one of their bench. That's pretty good. We've got Hop. Now, Hop is your standard draw-free card. I'm not going to argue that Hop is good, but the fact of the matter is, especially for newer players, it's quite nice. And the artwork on this one is way better than the artwork in the Sword and Shield set, and this is new artwork. And then we got ourselves a copy of Milo as well. Milo lets you discard up to 2 cards from your hand, and for each one you discard, you draw 2. So it's a nice little draw card as well. There is a lot to like about this Charizard deck, and I'm frankly a little bit jealous. It's weird that they reprinted Colossal when all the other Pokemon were new, but Colossal's good. Charizard V and VMAX are good. You've got some other exclusive Pokemon that are alright, and then you've got a really good suite of trainer cards. Anyone else starting to feel incredibly jealous right now? Because I totally am. But I'd like to know what you think about this. I'd like to know your opinions on this deck, and I'd like to know how jealous you are that Japan gets this deck and we don't. So let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, or you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where you can find out about a whole bunch of games that don't have Pokemon in, but are pretty gosh darned awesome nonetheless. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.